आराध्यो भगवान व्रजेश तनयस तद्धाम वृंदावनम रम्या काचिदुपासना व्रजवधुवर्गेण तया कल्पिता श्रीमद्भागवत पुराणमलं प्रेम पुमार्थो महान् श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभुर्मतैदं नायत्रया परः वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। जय 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 श्री चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। आजानुलंबितो भुजौ कनकायवधातो संकीर्तनै पितरो कमलायताक्षो विश्वम्भरो द्विजवरो युगधर्मपालो वंदे जगत प्रिय करो करुणा अवतारो वंदे जगत प्रिय करो करुणा अवतारो वंदे जगत प्रिय करो करुणा अवतारो। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। राधे जय जय माधव दयिते गोकुल तरुणी मंडल महिते दामोदर रति वर्धन वेशे हरिनिशकुट वृंदा विपिनेशे वृषभानुदधि नव शशिलेखे ललिता सखी गुण रमिता विशाखे करुणा कुरुमयि करुणा भरीते राधे जय जय माधव दयिते राधे जय जय माधव दयिते राधे जय जय माधव दयिते। वेणुं कर्णनिपतितं स्खलितं शिखण्डं भ्रुवस्दञ्च पीतावसनं व्रजराजसुनो यस्या कदाक्षसरघत विमूर चित्तस्य तं राधिकां परिचरमि कदा रसेन यस्या कदपि वसन्नाचल खेलनुत्थ धयन्ति धन्य पावनेन कृतार्थमणि योगीन्द्र दुर्गम गतिर मधुसूदनोऽपि तस्य नाम अस्तु वृषभानुभुवदीशे नवनीरद निंदित कांतिधरं रससागर नागर भूपवरं शुभवंकिमचारु शिखंड शिखिं भज कृष्ण निधिं व्रजराजसुतं राधिका सरोदइन्दु Nindimukhamandali Vandiye Shripad Padma Vrishabhanunandini Vandiye Shripad Padma Vrishabhanunandini Vandiye Shripad Padma Vrishabhanunandini. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Today is Sunday, January the 30th, 2022, and we will be continuing into the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, especially from the Chaitanya Charitamrita of composed by Srila Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami, by his blessings and the blessings of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, by Srila Prabhupada's blessings, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's blessings and his associates' blessings, we will enter into the wonderful pastime of the conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rayaramananda. In our last session, we had just started setting the stage, wherein Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Jagannath Puri, he travels to the South Indian part of India, South Indian part of the southern India, and he comes to a place called Jiyad Narsingha. And there, upon seeing the deities of Lord Narsinghadev, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is completely maddened with the darshan of Lord Narsinghadev. He dances like a madman and he sings the glories of Narsinghadev. Sri Narsingha, Jai Narsingha, Jai Narsingha, Praladesha, Jaya Padma, Mukha Bringa. Praladesha, Jaya Padma, Mukha Padma Bringa. Sri Narsingha, Jai Narsingha, Jai Narsingha, Praladesha, Jaya Padma, Mukha Padma Bringa. All glories to Narsinghadev, all glories to Narsinghadev, who is the Lord and Master of Prahlad Maharaj, and like a honeybee is always engaging and beholding the lotus face of Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune. Last time we saw this particular verse wherein even Sridhar Swami has a wonderful verse glorifying Lord Narsingadev. Vagisya yasya vadane Lakshmi yasya cha vaksasi yasyate hriday samvittam Narsinga maham bhaje. Lord Narsingadev is always assisted by Saraswati Devi, the goddess of learning, and he is always embracing the goddess of fortune, Mahalakshmi, to his chest. The Lord is always complete in knowledge within himself. Let us offer our dandvats, our obeisances, our pranams unto Lord Narsingadev. And Sridhar Swami has described Lord Narsingha in this rave, Prahlad Hrudayaladam Bhakta Avidya Vidaranam Sharada Indu Ruchim Vande Parindra Vadanam Hari. Meaning Prahlad Hrudaya Alladam, one who gives joy to the heart of Prahlad. Bhakti Avidya Vidaranam, and anything that is against the principles of bhakti, or those that are the avidya or the knee science, Lord Nrsingadev destroys them. Sharada Indu Ruchim Vande, his face is like that of a beautiful moonshine. He is distributing Parindra Vadanam Harim, and his face is that of a lion. Para Indra. Indra means Para Indra means the controller of all the controllers, and especially in the animal kingdom, it is the lion. So the lion is known as Para Indra. I offer my obeisances to that incarnation. So so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visits Jiyad Narsingha, which is very close to the banks of the Godavari River, where very soon the wonderful rendezvous or the meeting will happen with Rayaramananda. Further, it is said in the past times, Ugrahi api anugra evayam swabhakta nam nrukeshari Keshari was Swapotana Ane Shayam Ugra Vikramaha. Meaning, Ugra means ferocious. Api, although Anugraha, but he is not ferocious. He doesn't appear to be fearful. Eva ayam swabhaktam, to his devotees. So for everybody else, when Lord Nrsimhadev appeared, there was a tumultuous sound and the entire universe started shaking. And even the greatest of the bravest of all the beasts, like the lions and the elephants, they all started passing stool and urine. And the demigods in the upper region, they were scared and they were started taking to hiding when the tumultuous sound happened, when Lord Nrsimhadev appeared in his Adbhuta form. Adbhut means the most amazing. We sing that in the Nrsimha Arti every day in the last verse. Tava kara kamala vare nakham adbhuta shringam. Adbhut. There's no other. So amazing is your shringam. Is so amazing is your form that no other form is as amazing as yours. So it is very ferocious. When Lord Nrsimhadev appeared, he was Ugra Nrsimha. Ugra Nrsimha means extremely angry. He is so angry because his pure devotee Bhakta Prahlad was offended, and not only offended, put through a lot of difficulties, including he was tortured to the point of trying different torture methods that would kill him. So that form is Ugra Nrsimha. Lord Nrsimha has more than one form. And especially when we are praying to Lord Nrsimha, I've mentioned this before, it is Ugra Nrsimha. When we call out the Jai Dhwani at the end, after singing the Nrsimha Arti, we have to say Prahlad Nrsimha ki Jai. We can also say Lakshmi Nrsimha, but it is not necessary. Most of the devotees, I don't know where they got this impression. We have to, according to time, place, and circumstances, we are praying to a particular deity. Supposing if we are singing the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and then we start adding Sriman Narayana, Narayana, Hari Hari, or Lakshmi Narayana, Hari Hari, then it is Rasa Abhas. It is because Lakshmi Narayanan is in the Dasya Bhav, it is a Vaikuntha Bhav. And the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is Golokara Prema Dhana. It is Harinam Sankirtan, Narottam Das Thakur says. So then our consciousness, when we are actually worshipping a particular deity, especially in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, and also other Vaishnava Sampradayas like the Vallabh Sampradaya, there should not be any Rasa Abhas. When there is Rasa Abhas, then it shows the lack of understanding of the devotee, and that advancement is checked because we are trying to mix everything. And mixing is not recommended. We have to follow in the footsteps of the Vaishnava Acharyas. So when we are singing Namaste Narsingaya Prahlad Lad Daine, the same thing Sridhar Swami is saying in the previous quoted verse, Prahlad Rudaya Alladam. Prahlad Rudaya means heart, and Allad means to joy. And when we sing the prayers, Namaste Narsingaya Prahlad Allad Daine, one who gives joy to even the one who is full of joy. The word Prahlad means Prakrishta Rupena Allad Iti Allad, meaning Prakrishta means extreme, the most, and Allad means joy. So the one who is who is full of joy, or who possesses great joy, his name is Prahlad. So Prahlad is a perfect name for a pure devotee, and especially the son of Hiranyakashipu and the disciple of Naradji. Because a devotee who is fully self-realized is always full of joy. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned, Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma. So one who is situated on a spiritual platform is always full of joy. Why is he full of joy? Because he has got this full realization that I am not this body, I am a spirit soul, I am eternal. And the full realization is that I am an eternal servant of Krishna, or I have an eternal service to Sri Krishna. So that gives a lot of joy to the devotee. Actually, a Vaishnava is always very happy. But Vaishnava is para dukhe dukhi. When he sees the other souls suffer in this material world, then they are unhappy. Otherwise, there is no question about a Vaishnava, a pure Vaishnava, being unhappy. So, Namaste Narsingaya Prahlad Allad Daine, one who gives even joy to the joyful devotee Prahlad by his appearance in such a amazing form. Prahlad Allad Jai Hiranyakashipur Vaksha Silatankha Nakhalaye. He tears open with his on a stone chisel like chest of Hiranyakashipu with his chisel like nails. He tore apart Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipur Vaksha Silatankha Nakhalaye. Ito Narshingo Parato Narshingo Yato Yato Yami Tato Narshingo. Ito Narsingha Dev Bhagavan is here. He is omnipresent. He is Vishnu. The word Vishnu in Sanskrit, if we translate into English, means all pervading. One who is present everywhere. So Krishna is present everywhere. In the material worlds, in the spiritual worlds, in the heart of the devotee, in every atom, his presence is there. So, like Prahlad Maharaj, his mood is here that yes, when Hiranyakashipu asked, is your Sri Hari present here in in this in this palace, in this pillar? If you think he's going to save you from me now, be ready to die from me. Where is your Sri Hari? Is he present here? So Prahlad is saying, yes. The bhav is ito narsingo, parato narsingo, yato yato yami tato narsingo. Yes, he is here. He is there. Wherever I go, Narsingha Dev is with me. That is the mood of Prahlad Maharaj, which has been expressed in this Narsingha Arti that we sing every day. So here we are talking about Prahlad Narsingha. There is no Lakshmi Devi here at all. So ito Narsingha, parato Narsingha, yato yato yami tato bahir Narsingha, hridaye Narsingha. Narsingha Dev Bhagavan is outside and also he is within as Paramatma. Because he is none other than the expansion of Mahavishnu as Sirodakshayi Vishnu, as the four-armed form. So they are all of the same Tattva, Vishnu Tattva. So Bahir Narsingha, Hridaye Narsingha, Narsingha Madhim Sharanam Prapade. And therefore I offer my respectful obeisance unto that primal Lord Sri Krishna, who comes in the form of Narsingha Dev. I offer him my humble obeisances. Tavakara Kamala Vare Nakham Adbhuta Shringam. He has his wonderful lotus-like hands. Kara Kamal. Kara means hands and Kamal means lotus. So his beautiful lotus-like hands, looking at that form, has got that Adbhut Shringam. To the devotee, it is an amazing form. This is the same thing which is being mentioned in today's verse, that although very ferocious, the lioness is very kind to her cubs. To the cubs, to Prahlad Maharaj and to the devotees, a ferocious lion like Lord Nrsimhadev is very kind. So like this, for the demons, he is very, very, demons are very fearful when they see a form like that. But the devotees are like the cubs, like the little, a lioness or a lion will carry the little cubs in their mouth, and the cub will not feel any pain. As a matter of fact, it will feel a certain pleasure that it is under the protection of the father lion or the mother lion. And then it says Swabhaktam. No Keshari, although he is in the body of a half human and half lion, Kesari Eva, like a lioness. The word is used as Kesari. Kesari means lion, and Kesari is the female. Like a female lioness, Swapotanam, for her young little cubs, Anyesham, but unto others, she is very, very a scary sight. If we see a lion or a lioness, then we are scared, the human beings. But the little cubs are not scared, even though the cubs are being carried in the Ugra, ferocious Vikramaha, even though they are so powerful that, just a little bite can snap somebody's bone. But a pure devotee like Prahlad is compared to the cub of a lion or a lioness. So that is why Tavakara Kamala Vare Nakham Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam. This lion, half man, amazing form, kills Hiranyakashipu just like a little little wasp, a little fly. Keshava Dhruta Narhari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. This Lord Krishna, Keshav, has taken the form of half man, half lion. I offer my humble obeisances, all glories to that Jagadisha, the master of all the universes, the controller of all the universes, the personality who is Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all the causes. Hare Krishna. So, just an important point that I was making, that when we finish our Narsingha Arti, then first our obligation should be to glorify Prahlad and Prahlad Narsingha. That is not Lakshmi Narsingha who appeared. As a matter of fact, Lakshmi Devi was scared seeing the Ugra form. She did not even go in front of her husband. Even though she was requested by Lord Brahma and many other demigods that your husband is so angry. We have never seen an angry form. We have seen many, we have taken darshan of many forms of the Lord, but never ever we have seen such an angry form, Ugra Narsingha. So please go and pacify your husband. And Lakshmi Devi said, "Na Baba, na. Even I have not seen such a form before. So I dare not go in front of him. I'm extremely scared." But then finally, nobody could go. They pushed Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj, he is very angry still. The whole universe is shaking. Can you do something? Can you go pacify him? And Prahlad Maharaj goes with a garland. We see that famous picture of Lord Nrsimhadev, and Prahlad Maharaj is right about to garland Nrsimhadev. And then he pacifies Lord Nrsimhadev. And then Lord Nrsimhadev puts Prahlad in his lap. After that, he kisses Prahlad on his forehead, and he shows a lots of Vatsalya Prem, just like that father to son, after he's pacified. So we are praying to Prahlad Nrsimha for our protection. Prahlad's bhakti was protected by Nrsimhadev. Prahlad was physically protected by Nrsimhadev. So that is Prahlad Nrsimhadev ki jai. So a lot of these people, they have changed things. You know, it's okay to have Lakshmi Nrsimha in the house, etc. That is because there is some material motive. If we keep Lakshmi Nrsimha, then money will come. That is the subtle thing behind the heads. Somebody must have started this in ISKCON. And then from now on, almost in every temple after Narsingha Arti, they say, Lakshmi Dev, Narsingha Dev Bhagwan ki jai. That is Rasa Abhas. That is not the Gaudiya mood here. That is because it is according to a particular pastime. The pastime that we just sang in the form of Narsingha Arti is the pastime of Ugra Narsingha, who came to save Prahlad. So therefore, Prahlad Narsingha Dev Bhagwan ki jai. So like this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Jihad Narsingha. And then further, Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami says, Ehi mata nama shloka padistuti kaila Narsingha Shebaka Mala Prasadani Dila. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited many different verses from the Shastra. Now one may wonder, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the parikashta or the zenith of Krishna Prem in Vrindavan, in the Madhurya Rasa, in the Ujjvala Rasa. He is in the Unnata Ujjvala Rasa. Not just Ujjvala Rasa is the Gopi Bhav, but Unnata Ujjvala Rasa is only the proprietorship of Radharani. Amongst all the gopis have Ujjvala Rasa. Like in that bhajan, Govinda Das, Nama Sankirtana Kare, in Jai Radhe, Jai Krishna, Jai Vrindavan, Shri Govinda Gopinath, Madana Mohan, Jai Jai Ujjvala Rasa, Sarva Rasa Sar, Parkiya Bhave Jaha, Brajeta Prachar. So here the glories of the gopis have been sung by the Kavi, by this devotee who composed this. Sri Janvaja Pada Padma Kori Asmar Dina Krishna Das. So Krishna Das, who has composed this bhajan, he is saying, he is glorifying the gopis of Vrindavan. Jai Jai Ujjvala Rasa, Sarva Rasa Sar. All the other four rasas, Sant, Shantras, Dasyaras, Sakhyaras, and the Vatsalya Ras, the rasa of neutrality, the rasa of friendship, the mellows of of fraternity, of parenthood, and the mellows of all these four rasas, Jaya Jaya, Ujjvala Rasa, Sarva Rasa Sar. This Ujjval Ras or the Madhurya Ras is the essence of all the other mellows, is the essence of all the other rasas. Parkiya Bhave Jaha Vrajeta Prachar. And especially because the gopis' love for Krishna is super excellent, of the highest nature, that they gave up everything, even their own husbands. So that is called Parkiya Rasa. Uh, Parkiya Rasa. But out of that, there is Unata Ujjvala Rasa. That is reserved only for for Radharani. So why is he interested in singing the glories of Narsingadev? Narsingadev has a planet in Vaikuntha. And we as Gaudiya Vaishnavas have nothing to do with Vaikuntha. We have explained that many a time when the opportunity has arisen, again quoting the Damodar Ashtakam, Varam Deva Moksham na Moksham Avdimva, na cha anye vrine aham, Vara Ishad apiya idam te vapurnatham Gopala Balam, Sada me manasi avirashtam kim anye. When Lord Krishna is offering Satyavrat Muni in the Damodar Ashtakam, as you all can recollect when we did it when we went into the details in Kartik, it is a conversation between Krishna and Satyavrat Muni, a subtle conversation. And Sanatan Goswami and Jiva Goswami and our acharyas have made have given us wonderful insight into this Damodar Ashtakam. So here, that is why the Gaudiya Vaishnavas are interested, because it is not of Vaikuntha Bhav. It is not of any bhav where there is opulence to be worshipped. In spite of that, they had chosen this Damodar Ashtakam. And also in the beginning, it appears that it is the Vatsalya Rasa. For us, Sanatan Goswami and our Rupanugas, we are not really much interested in the Vatsalya Rasa. We are interested in the Madhurya Rasa, the fifth and the highest Rasa, Sarva Rasa Sar, which is the Gopi Bhav, the sweet amorous pastimes, and the service to the divine couple and their intimate associates in those amorous pastimes, in the Madhurya Rasa. So there he has rejected liberation. Satyavratmi has rejected Vaikuntha. Moksham avdhimva. I do not even desire liberation in Avad. Avad means Vaikuntha. So then, why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? It seems a little bit controversial. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is worshipping Lord Nrsingadev. So here there is a reason for that. And I touched upon it many a time according to the occasions. Well, Lord Nrsingadev Bhagavan is the one who protects the devotee's bhakti. So we have many weaknesses in our life, in our material existence. So that is the reason when we pray to that particular form of Nrsingadev, who is none other than Krishna, in particular, he protects the interest. Bhakta avidya vidaranam. Avidya means knee science. Avidya means when we are on a material concept or a bodily concept. That is avidya. Vidya means transcendental or true knowledge. And avidya means knee science, or the opposite of the real knowledge. And the real knowledge or real realization is, I am not this body, I am a spirit soul, and I am an eternal servant of Sri Krishna. That is the full realization. But because in this material world, in spite of us, if we analyze our own selves, some of us have been in the movement, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 45, 50 years, some of them. But how many of us can really say with a lot of conviction that I am fully realized, I am Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma? Excuse me. How many of us can say that we are not under the control of Maya? So that is the reason Bhakta Vidya Vidaranam. We have to pray to a particular form because he is the perfect form. That is why it is not Rasa Abhas. When we pray to a form that the form that protects, not only physically protects the Bhakta, but he protects them. Sarva Bhakti Vignanashak Nrsingadev Bhagwan ki jai. That's what we offer a Jai Dhwani after the Narsingha Aarti. Bhakta Vigna Nashak Narsinga Dev Bhagwan ki jai. So Bhakta Vigna Nashak is Bhakta Avidya Vidaranam, as mentioned by Sridhar Swami. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to preach the glories of Chaitanya, the glories of the Mahamantra, which is the external reason, so that everybody can get Krishna Prem. If they start Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadava Agni Nirvapanam, just by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, basically the first effect is that it will, when we chant sincerely, it will cleanse our hearts, it will purify us, and it will deliver us from this great forest fire of this material world. Bhava Mahadava Dava Agni Nirvapanam. So it is rightfully so that he has, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is acting just like a perfect devotee. So he is showing sadhana bhakti first, and also through sadhana bhakti, proper sadhana bhakti, he leads us to Raganuga bhakti. So for sadhana, sadhak bhaktas also, Nrsimhadev Bhagavan is the protector, protector of all the different kinds of obstacles. Just like it is said, Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samatprabha Nirvignam Kurmedevu Sarvakare Subhakare Sarvada. So people in this world, they pray to Lord Ganesh. This is one of the most important stutis or prayers to Lord Ganesh that most people in India know. Vakratunda Mahakaya. His face is wonderfully curved, and Mahakaya, he's got a huge body, a huge belly. And Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samatprabha. And the effulgence of Lord Ganesh is like of thousands of suns. Surya Koti Samatprabha. Nirvignam Kurme Devo. Please remove my obstacles. Nirvigna. O Deva. O Lord Ganesh. Please remove my obstacles. Sarvakareshu Sarvada. In everything that I do. But mostly people pray to Lord Ganesh to remove the obstacles in the material world. So even it is said in the Brahma Samhita, Yat Pad Pallavam Yuga Vinidhaya Dvande Pranama Samaye Swaganadi Raja Vignan Vihutumalasya Jagatrayasyam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. If I am not mistaken, this is verse number 50 from chapter 5 of the Brahma Samhita. Yat Pada Pallavam Yugam Vinidhaya Kumbha Dvande Pranama Samaye Swaganadi Raja. Ganadi Raja means, Gana means the congregation of demigods, and Ganadi Raja means the leader of that congregation of demigods is Lord Ganesha. Ganesh also means the same thing. Gana means a congregation or a group, and Esha means the leader of a group. So Lord Ganesh is the leader of the demigods. Ganapati, it also means exactly the same thing. Gana means the group of demigods, a group of, and Pati means the master or the leader. Just like we have in a school, we have a monitor in the classroom, or we have the controller of all the students in the school is the principal. So he's more or less, because he's so intelligent that the demigods take advice and leadership has been given to Lord Ganesha. But what and when he bows down to Krishna, it is mentioned in the Brahma Samhita that when he bows down, when his tumuli or the tusks, they touch the lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna blessed him that you will become a Vignahari. You will have the powers to remove all obstacles in the material world. So he is the most of them, they pray to Lord Ganesh for removing their material obstacles. So if somebody has some problems in business, or they have some kind of an issue in the home, so they do the Navagraha Puja, but they first offer they offer their prayers to Lord Ganesh. So he can remove all the obstacles, and all the other demigods are kind of subservient to Lord Ganesh because he is the leader. So like that, we find that even there are karma kandi in karma kand, in many vidhis or many rituals, they always sing first the glories of Lord Ganesh, because then that will remove all obstacles. But our obstacles are not related to the material world. for the devotee. And the obstacles that are removed by that personality for spiritual obstacles is Lord Nrsimhadev. Very powerful. So that's one thing. Second thing I also had mentioned, that also there is some rasa when it comes to Lord Nrsimhadev. He is connected to Vraj. Why is he connected to Vraj? Although he is in Vaikuntha, the ladies or the gopis, the elderly gopis of Vraj, including Yashoda Mai, they used to pray to Lord Nrsimhadev, to the form of Lord Nrsimhadev. Even today we have many ancient forms of Nrsimhadev in Vraj Mandal. And they pray, the Vrajvasis, for actually not for their personal material gain, but because the love for Krishna is so amazing that they say, my dear Nrsimhadev, please protect our Kana. He is going out into the forest and sometimes the demons are attacking. So you please protect them. So this is the bhav. Because they don't know that Krishna, Nandan is the source of everything. Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the primal Lord. They do not know and they do not care to know. That is the bhav in Vraj. So then they pray to the different lords in Vaikuntha. So when Putna came and she picked up the 3-day-old Nandan Krishna, at that time when she fell, Mother Yashoda started praying to Vishnu. And then when Krishna would open his mouth to show that I have not eaten any mud, and she sees all the different universes and including Gokul and including Brahman God and including herself and including Krishna, she starts imagining and she thinks, oh, what is happening to me? I'm seeing this in my son's mouth. Look at the illusory energy of Vishnu. So here she is thinking of Lord Vishnu of Vaikuntha and the Maya of Vishnu. Vishnu's Maya is so powerful that I'm seeing all kinds of things in my baby darling boy. So like that, nobody in Raj knows that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So for the protection of Krishna, they pray to Lord Nrsimhadev. So it is not so surprising that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for two reasons, the external reason to protect our bhakti, our sadhana bhakti, and the internal reasons, because in the bhav of a gopi, he is always praying for the protection of Krishna, because the gopis don't know that Krishna is the Supreme Person, and even if they have some idea, they throw it out. So then moving on into this verse, further we find that Eimata Nana Shloke Padi, he started reciting many stutis and prayers, Koila Narsingha Sevaka, and then a priest, a pujari of the Jiyad Narsingha, he comes and he garlands Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says, Eimata Nana Shloke Padi Stuti Kaila Narsingha Sevaka. The pujari comes, Mala Prasada Ani Dila, and he gives the garland of Nrsimhadev to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the things that we find, when we follow in the footsteps of our acharyas. That is why in our temples, if we are fortunate to get the garland of the deities, we can wear them as prasadam. Many times I see that a lot of people who are not so familiar with our movement or with our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, etc., they feel very strange when you give them a garland in front of people, and they either feel embarrassed or they feel a little bit awkward. And then sometimes we have to explain, no, this is very special mercy. Wear it, because this is the mercy that you received from the deities of Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Nityananda Prabhu or Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Devi. So we find that in those days, this is recorded, that the garland of Nrsimhadev Bhagwan was as a prasad. There was a garland of Lord Jagannath that fell automatically when little baby Bimla Prasad, the son of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, during the Rath Yatra, when the chariot of Lord Jagannath would not move in front of Thakur Bhaktivinoda's house in Jagannath Puri. And when Bhaktivinoda Thakur went on the Lord Jagannath's Rath and he placed his little baby, the 6-month-old Bimla Prasad, at the lotus feet of Jagannath, immediately Lord Jagannath himself, the huge garland fell from him like some kind of a miracle, and it encircled the 6-month infant. And who was that? None other than Srila Prabhupada's Pujya Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So this is something that is to be noted. Then further, it is said that Purvavata Kona Vipre Kailon Nimantrana Shairatri Tahan Rahi Korila Gamana. So at that time, one Brahmin, he offered, it was late, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please come, and please stay the night in the temple, and then you can continue your padayatra, your tour. So then next morning, so he Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agreed to the request of the Brahmin, and he stayed that night at the temple. So this is another thing, another etiquette. If a Vaishnava is traveling and he is going through a place where his home is not there, then other Vaishnavas should open up their houses. The temple should be open. Not that we should make a business like a guest house and charge thousands of rupees, and so all these things are going on in the name of life membership. Even in our ISKCON movement, most of the time it is a huge disappointment. Unless you know somebody, you cannot get a place in the guest house when you're visiting places like Bombay or Vrindavan or Mayapur. You have to know somebody. That should not be the case. And generally speaking, most of those guest houses have been sponsored. Every room, if you see, there is a name on the room. Such and such a person has sponsored. They have given lakhs of rupees. So they should charge bare minimum, because it is a temple's property. They incur some expenses, electricity and stuff like that. So bare minimum should be charged, and it should be open to everyone. If there is any rooms available, they should not be held in reserve for some Maharaj or somebody or somebody who is in administration, just holding. Just like when we go to in travel in Air India always holds some seats, and then they show the whole flight is full, because they always have to keep some quota for ministers and stuff like that. So if any last minute, if a minister decides to travel, then they will always have a seat. But those who are ready to pay and those who are willing to, for them, those facilities are not available. So this is a shame in our society, and that is happening in our spiritual culture also. Srila Prabhupada mentioned very clearly the purpose of life membership. The purpose of life membership, if one reads Prabhupada's own writing, it is to bring people, to make them Krishna conscious. Prabhupada said that come, in your busy lives, if you're a businessman or whatever, at least we will, if you become a life member, we want you to come and attend at least the weekly programs, and attend the Aarti, the Katha, the Kirtan, and take Krishna Prasadam. And out of your life membership, donation, we can facilitate all this for many other people who are not able to give money. And then, as a token further of appreciation, we have many centers all over the world, Prabhupada said. So you can stay there free for 3 days, and don't worry about paying anything or anything like that. So this was an incentive. And plus, they were getting a lot of Prabhupada's books in the life membership. So Prabhupada's intention is, life membership is not some mode of collection of money, or where nowadays we find that those who they are actually recruited to collect money to make life members. That is not the main consciousness with which Prabhupada never encouraged such, or never did he apply such methods. When Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada was asked by one businessman in Kolkata that your preaching is so heavy and all your devotees are going and doing Nagar Kirtan, and your preaching is very powerful. What happens if you convert everybody to Vaishnavas, and if they all decide to come and move into the temple, where will you get the money from? And what did Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur say? He said that I will bring one brick from Vaikuntha. Sri Prabhupada says that my Gurudev was a Vaikuntha man. Of course, not that Vaikuntha man means from the spiritual kingdom, not literally Vaikuntha as in the domain of the Aishwarya Rasa. He was a Vaikuntha man, meaning he was from the spiritual kingdom. And in the spiritual kingdom, Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha Lakshat Prateshu, there are thousands and thousands, millions and millions of desire trees, Kalpa Vriksha. Whatever you ask, the desire trees will give. And the dust is also made of Chintamani. The dust there is made of touchstone, of many, many expensive rubies and gems. So Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhu said, I will bring one brick from Vaikuntha and that will cover the cost. So I'm not worried about that. Meaning full faith in Krishna, that if thousands and thousands and millions of people join, then my Krishna will take care of their needs. That was his full faith. So similarly, those of us who are in leadership positions in the temples, we should also have the same attitude. We should not come into the pressure of such mundane, corporate style efforts to bring money. That strong faith will bring money. It will automatically, Lakshmi Devi will come with folded hands to the sincere devotees and the sincere leaders who are running the movement. So this is a sad state. Many times, I've seen that some people are standing for a whole day. Morning you go in the guest house, you pass there, that person is still there with the baggage trying to get a room. And they tell them that, oh yeah, we'll see what we can do. 12 hours later also they are sitting there, tired out of their journey, and still they haven't gotten a room. Although they were promised a room on the phone. And then when they come there, some big shot comes and takes the room. Either he's related or connected to the temple admin. So this is not done. We have to have that etiquette. Even the Brahmana is saying, my dear Mahaprabhu, I know you are traveling, but please, it's late. Come and stay here. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted that. That is Vaishnava etiquette. So then Prabhata Uthiya Prabhate Uthiya Prabhu Cholila Prema Avashe Diga Vidik Nahi Jnana Ratri Divashe. Prabhate Uthiya Prabhu Cholila Prema Avashe Dig Vidik Nahi Jnana Ratri Divashe. So the next morning, Prabhate, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wakes up early, and in the great ecstasy of Krishna Prema, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started on his tour. He started walking without the knowledge of the proper direction. Of course, he is the Lord. He knows everything in and out. Ito Narsinga, Parato Narsinga, Bahir Narsinga, Hridaye Narsinga, Keshava Dhrita Narhari Rupa, Jai Jagadishare. He is Krishna. Krishna is Mahaprabhu. But here it is for the purpose of the Leela. It is what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in such ecstasy. So here there is an indication that he wanted to meet Rayaramananda. And he just set out, completely, with the prema in his heart, not knowing in which direction. Just like a madman doesn't know what he talks. It is a saying, Prabhupada used to say this in Bangla, and perhaps my dear friend, our Acharya Nidhi Prabhu, can correct me if I am wrong. Chagola ki na bole, pagalo ki na khave. Chagol means a goat. If you give a goat anything, it will eat. It will even eat a newspaper. Chagole ki na, and pagole ki na bole. And a madman or a crazy man will say anything. So when a devotee becomes pagal in Krishna Prem, he doesn't know what he's doing. So in which direction Chaitanya Mahaprabhu set out, they heard Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is kind of giving us an idea about the ecstasy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Dik Vidik, Dik means directions, right or wrong direction he doesn't know. Nahi Jnana, he did not know. Ratri Divashe, and day or night. So now, continuing in this wonderful pastime, Purvavata Vaishnava Kori Sarva Loka Gane Godavari Tire Prabhu Aila Kata Dine. Finally, so Purvavata Vaishnava Kori Sarva Loka Gane Godavari Tire Prabhu Aila Kata Dine. Just like previously, Purvavata means as previously, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted to Vaishnavas, many people he met on the road. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted many people into Vaishnavas. We all know one of the greatest staunch Brahmavadis was Sarvavadacharya in Jagannath Puri. So even a great Sarva Bhauma, meaning the Bhauma means the creation, Sarva in the creation, the great Acharya, the great Brahman, Sarvabhaumacharya in Jagannath Puri. He was not a Vaishnava. He was a Brahmavadi who did not believe in the form of the Lord or any such attributes, Nirgun, Nirvisesh. That was his philosophy. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted him into a Vaishnava. There are so many different examples. Another example is Prakashanand Saraswati. Prakashanand Saraswati, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Banaras, at that time, Banaras was mostly full of Mayavadi sannyasis. So they had this big bhandara, this big feast, and all these sannyasis were invited. And because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also from the Bharati Sannyas Sampradaya, which is a Mayavadi Sampradaya. So one has to understand that also, that why he took Diksha under Mayavadi Sampradaya, because at that time there was nobody available and he needed to take sannyas. And because he had become crazy in Krishna Prema, chanting the holy names after he went to perform the Pindadan, the oblations to his father in Gaya, he met Ishwar Puripad. And Nimai Pandit, he was a Pandit Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his younger days and before taking sannyas. He was the big scholar. He had defeated even Keshav Kashmiri, the great Pandit, Digvijay Pandit from Kashmir. He had come all the way to Navadvip to debate on philosophy and so many Shastric debates. And he was defeated very easily by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by Nimai Pandit. But after coming back from Gaya and after receiving the Mahamantra from his Gurudev, Ishwar Puripad, all he did was chant, and he used to roll on the ground and cry all day, just chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Everybody did not understand him in Navadvip. Only a few devotees like Srivas Acharya, Advaita Acharya could understand. Mother Sachi started worrying, what has happened to my son? Well, he has gone crazy, he has gone mad. And Srivas Acharya says, I wish I could get that kind of craziness like your son has. He is so fortunate. So like this. But the other people in Navadvip, they started disrespecting him. They started making fun of him. So now the time came, he knew that, just like Srila Prabhupada, if we look at Srila Prabhupada's lifespan, he knew he had only 10 or 12 years to spread this Krishna conscious movement. And that's why he accepted everything in the service of Krishna. He even took to these young boys who came to him and they took sannyas at a very young age. Srila Prabhupada knew that some of these would not be able to maintain their sannyas ashram. Some of these will probably sometimes, they have their old habits will take over. But he wanted to make sure that whatever service they do, he just wanted to engage them because he had a very short time. And in a short time, just like it is mentioned, I think it was mentioned by Sridhar Swami, that like Bhakti Raksha Sridhar Swami, the senior god brother of Srila Prabhupada, that in wartime when there is an emergency, then not only the soldiers who are trained, they are sent to the war front, but even from the civilian, from the normal public, the government forcefully recruits them so that they have to bear arms and go fight for the country. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada had only 10 to 12 years. He knew that. And he took whatever he could. He engaged them in it. Anybody came to him, okay, come my dear boy. Okay, you want to join our movement. You want to take initiation. Fine. So tell me, what are the 4 regulative principles? So they would say, Swamiji, no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. Prabhupada said, Jai. And then Prabhupada would sometimes even initiate them at the corridor in the airport, right outside the gate. Prabhupada would take the beads and chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Your name is Syam Sundar Das. You chant minimum 16 good rounds every day. and remember Krishna. Don't forget Krishna. Finished. That was the potency, the Shakti, initiation done. But nowadays we find that things are becoming so complex in our movement. Even for those who are not so advanced in their in their literary habits, we have seen few years ago we went to Pune and there were some 75, 80-year-old ladies who are already chanting for many years, and now it was time for them to take initiation, but then they had to give this exam and they had to pay this 400 rupees application fee and all this. And when I was invited to one of the houses after Hari Katha to take prasadam, I saw that the leader was helping them to fill out the form and taking their test and this and that. And I was like, I was telling him, Prabhuji, what is this? Some discretion should be used. 80-year-old woman, she can die anytime. Actually, we can all die anytime. But she's so sincere to take Harinam, and we are putting her through this horrendous, this cycle of gyan and all this. What to do, Prabhuji? That is our system. I try to help them out as much as I can, but that is what the rules are. So things have changed. In our days when we took Diksha, nothing very complicated. The same thing, but Prabhupada, just that we had to show our sincerity that we were chanting, reading Prabhupada's books, and that was sufficient. And Gurudev, you associate, used to come, they see, and then, when you express your desire, in a few months, maybe in a couple years, initiation was given. But nowadays, some people, some Maharajas make their aspiring. I would rather, into parentheses, put perspiring instead of aspiring. Those perspiring disciples, 14 years wait list. I mean, I really don't understand that. Prabhupada was so merciful to them. They gave them Harinam, and in spite of them, they blooped. They did many wrong things. But Prabhupada was so kind. So why can't we give Mahaprabhu's thing? When somebody says, I will do this, at least give them a chance. If they don't do, then it is between them and Mahaprabhu. If they break their vows. And Mahaprabhu is so kind. Dina ina jata chilo hariname uddarilo tara sakshi jagayan madai. Are we as fallen as Jagai Madai? Perhaps not as fallen as Jagai Madai, that we would hit a liquor pot on Lord Nityananda's forehead. We would not do that. So the compassion of Mahaprabhu is being forgotten. I'm being very honest. Some of the people may not like what I'm saying, but this is a fact. This is what I feel. My heart bleeds when I see that. That we are a prema dhama eva naumi gaurav sundaram. He is the prema dham. He is the dham of Krishna prema. He is the abode of Krishna prema. And if Krishna prema is going to be measured or be given based on academic knowledge and other, based on fees and based on classes and based on this and that, and every step of the way, just like when you take tuition, they charge you. For this particular class you have to pay. For the prerequisite class you have to pay. So Guru Siksha, what is that called? I forget these days. They have this classes for that. Disciple course. Sorry, that is the word. So you have to pay for disciple course. And then you have to, one Mataji here in Toronto area, she had the desire to take initiation from a certain guru. But because she was taking Siksha from different devotees in ISKCON, and somebody also suggested that you can also think about taking initiation from this particular guru, a recommendation come. Generally, I do not recommend anybody. You have to do your own, but your due diligence means you meet senior Vaishnavas and take guidance, and then you make a guru. So when she expressed that desire, automatically, they cut her off and they did not give her a letter. Nowadays, you need a letter of recommendation from the temple that this devotee is ready for initiation. Because the person or the mentor whom she was supposed to get the letter, she did not consider his advice when she said that now my heart is for this particular personality. I am attracted to this particular guru in ISKCON, and I would like to, I'm aspiring. But the hometown is Toronto. The hometown is Toronto Temple. And they know that she's been chanting. She's been coming to the temple for the last at least 20 years. She's been rendering seva, etc. She's been uh, uh, hosting festivals and Harinam programs and Bhakti Vrikshas in her house. But just because that salesman did not get the order, that salesman wants to cancel the contract. So this is very shameful. This is aparad actually. When we are deterring somebody to get connected to Mahaprabhu. My humble request to those leaders: don't do that. Please, we think that we are going to go to Golok. Golok is a far-fetched thing. We probably will not even escape this earthly planet, and most probably may even end up in the hellish planets. It is only because somehow or the other we have taken to the Harinam and we have joined the movement, we will get some kind of etiquette, allowed to keep terms. Back in the days of my Nantran Prabhu must be knowing, there is a term known, or even our Acharya Nidhi Prabhu. When we were in school that day, in those days, certain students were allowed to pass, allowed to keep terms. Although they were not performing well, they hardly got 35%. Or they even failed out of the 35%, one or two subjects, but they were passed. It is called ATKT, allowed to, they were passed on the basis of ATKT, allowed to keep terms. So do we want to be those candidates that we just will, do any nonsense? And because somehow or the other we have taken to this Harinam, we will be spared? No. Harinam Namaprad number 7, it will be very heavy on us, committing sinful activities on strength of chanting the holy name. And then when we commit such offenses by keeping devotees away from Harinam, we are committing offenses against our Acharya Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said it takes thousands of gallons of blood to make one devotee. And here we are making them perspire. So then I told that Mataji, if you want, I can vouch for you, the guru that you are trying to take initiation from. I have personally known him for the last 30 years. And if you want, I can, try to talk. He says, no, she got so frustrated. No, Prabhuji, now I don't want to beg from anyone. I'm so frustrated. I'm chanting every day. I'm reading every day, and etc. And I'm trying to be Krishna conscious. In fact, a lot of the people who are initiated, they're not following the vows, a lot of them. And they're not, because once they're initiated, they think that they have that free license to do whatever they want. Hare Krishna. So these are the things. But for those of us who are listening to this very sincerely, then we should be aware, and we should not be a part of this trap. So here we are seeing the etiquette of the Vaishnavas and how Mahaprabhu's movement is. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted many to Vaishnavas. He did not see their qualification. Prakashanand Saraswati and all those great Mayavadi scholars, who are Mayavadi's Krishna Aparadhi. That's what Mahaprabhu said. But even that, he has so much compassion for the fallen souls. Even though they had committed offenses to Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not give them up. He even converted them into the great Vaishnavas. And today, if you look at Prakashana Saraswati, actually, he became Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad, who is one of the foremost Vaishnava scholarly personalities who have written so many wonderful Mahatmyas of Vrindavan Dham, Radha Rasasuna, the glories of Radha Rani's nectar, etc. And he admits in the beginning, when he writes Radha Rasasuna, that is by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I was converted. So that conversion, and that is the reason only powerful personalities can do that conversion. Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. That is the powerful, because Prabhupada is a Shaktavis avatar. He is Gauravani. He is the representation of the words of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the personification of the Shakti of Mahaprabhu. So they are so powerful that they can even convert the Nirvisesh. Nirvisesh means the Mayavadi. Shunyavads means the Buddhist, the followers of Buddhism. And Paschatya Desha, all those persons who live in the Western culture, very difficult. The hippies, They were actually doing all the things that are antisocial. Meat eating, intoxication was rampant, illicit sex was rampant, exchanging partners every day was a common theme in the hippies. But Srila Prabhupada made them Vaishnavas. He made hippies into happies. So that is what Mahaprabhu himself was doing. That Purva Vata Vaishnava Kori. He previously made many Vaishnavas. Loka Gane Godavari Tire. And he met, and when he met on the road, along the road, he made many Vaishnavas. And after some days, the Lord reached the banks of the river Godavari. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has reached the banks of Godavari. Godavari dekhe hoila Yamuna smarana tire vana dekhi smruti hoila vrindavana. So this is a devotee. A devotee's bhav we should see following in the footsteps of the great Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers. Godavari dekhe hoila Yamuna smarana. As the moment he saw Godavari, he was thinking of Yamuna. Even when he had gone to Advaita Acharya's house, and when he was in a boat, he was in the Ganga, but he started thinking it is the Jamuna, and he started jumping into the Jamuna, just like Krishna jumped into the Jamuna, sporting with the gopis. So that is Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada is so amazing. The two words that he has coined, the Krishna consciousness. Nowhere in the history of theism anybody has used such words. Even God consciousness. They generally use faith in God or persons of faith, but Krishna consciousness. Wherever jare dekho tare, everywhere they see Krishna. Krishna is everywhere. Like last time I had mentioned that about Pundrik Vidyanidhi. When Gadadhar Pandit went to see this great Vaishnava Pundrik Vidyanidhi, he was full of opulence. He was very rich, and he was seated on a very nice bed spread with lots of pillows, and his servants were fanning him with yorktails, etc. And he had a lot of expensive jewelry displayed on his chest, beautiful emerald and rubies and pearls. And when Gadadhar Pandit was told that there's a wonderful Vaishnava by the name Pundrik Vidyanidhi, you should go take his darshan. And when he went there, he was surprised to see an opulent person. He had a lot of expensive hair oil and scents that permeated in the air. And at that time, Gadadhar Pandit that disappointment was visible on his face. And then at that time, another great Vaishnava, Narari Sarkar, was present there in the house of Pundrik Vidyanidhi. So then, understanding that before further any kind of offenses are committed, he went and immediately asked one of the servants to stop fanning the charmer, and he says, go bring the he brought the peacock feather fan. And as soon as the peacock feather fan was coming, when Pundrik Vidyanidhi saw the peacock feathers, he immediately went into samadhi, into trance, thinking about Krishna. Tears rolled in his eyes, and he started rolling down on the ground and started chanting Krishna, 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 just by looking at the peacock feathers. So, Simi, that is Krishna consciousness. That is what Srila Prabhupada did. Wherever he went, he saw everything. A businessman came, he was talking about business, but Prabhupada was so amazing that he converted the entire environment into Krishna consciousness. So like this, Godavari dekhi hoila, when he saw the Godavari, Yamuna smarana, he started, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately remembered the river Jamuna in Vrindavan, Tire, on the banks, Vana, and the forest. Dekhi see, Smruti hoila Vrindavan. When he saw the forest, he started remembering Sri Vrindavan Dham. So that is the thing. Actually speaking, we have to develop that vision, no matter where we are situated in the world. If our Krishna consciousness is strong, we can see Krishna everywhere. We can see the mercy of Krishna everywhere. So this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu experienced when he reached the Godavari, thinking of the Jamuna and the banks, as if it was the banks in Vrindavan, looking at the forests around the Godavari river. It reminded him of Sri Vrindavan Dham. Bolo Vrindavan Dham ki jai. সেইবন কটক ক্ষণে করি নৃত্য গণ গোদাবরী পর হান্য তাহান কইল স্নান সেইবন কট ক্ষণ করি নৃত্য গণ গোদাবরী পর পার হন তাহান কইল স্নান. So thinking of Vrindavan, thinking of Jamuna, he started dancing. Just like when we are even sitting here and when we start singing Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Shri Govinda Gopi Natha Madana Mohan Shri Govinda Gopi Natha Madana Mohan Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Keshi Ghat Vamshi Vata Gadashakanana Jahan sab leela koilo Shri Nandanandana Shri Nanda Yashoda Jaya Jaya Gopagana Shri Damadi Jaya Jaya Dhenu Vatsaga Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari Jaya Jaya Purna Masi Abhira Nagari Jaya Jaya Gopeshwara Vrindavana Madha Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakha Gatu Dvijara Jaya Ram Ghat Jaya Rohini Nandana Jaya Jaya Vrinda Jaya Naga Kanya Gana. Jaya Jaya Dvija Patni Jaya Naga Kanya Gana. Bhakti te jahara pailo Govinda chara. Jaya Radhe Jayo Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Ras Mandala Jaya Jaya Radha Shyam Jaya Jaya Rasa Leela Sarva Manora. Jaya Jaya Ujjvala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sar. पार किया भावे जहाँ व्रजेत प्रचार. श्री जानव पाद पद्मा कोरिया स्मरण. दीन कृष्ण दासे कोए नाम संकीर्तन. जयो राधे जयो कृष्ण जयो वृंदावन. श्री गोविंद गोपी नाथ मदन मोहन. जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय वृंदावन. श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन. जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय जय श्री राधे. श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय. So like this, remembrance of Sri Vrindavan Dham, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shaivana Kataka Shana Hari Kori Nritya Gana Godavari Parahana Tahan Kailashnana. After performing his usual chanting and dancing for some time in the forest, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu crossed the river and took his bath on the other side of the bank. By the way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a wonderful swimmer. He actually swam all the way from Katwa to Shantipur just because he if you all remember in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that Advaita Acharya was respected very highly by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And all the other devotees were bowing down and offering obeisances. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to bestow his mercy. And one time in Srivasangan, he displayed very special mercy, where he even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed his wonderful, he sat on a golden throne. It was displayed to his most intimate disciples, and they all came and they took his blessings. Sometimes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put his lotus hands on the heads of the devotees. Sometimes he put his lotus feet. And Advaita Acharya was more of a grandfatherly figure, so he did not do that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaita Acharya tricked Mahaprabhu one time. So Advaita Acharya started preaching the Mayavad philosophy purposely, that Krishna has no form, Krishna is formless, I am God, etc. That's the Mayavad philosophy. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard that, he says, is that old man gone mad? Is he gone crazy? And he became very upset. And he said, I will teach him a lesson. And in anger, he swam across the Ganga and he reached Shantipur in his wet clothes. And he picked up Advaita Acharya while he was just about to take prasadam. You old man, have you gone crazy? And he slapped him and he sat on his chest and he said, why you have become a Mayavad? Why you have and Advaita Acharya was in ecstasy. Hari bol, Hari bol. Finally, I received the mercy. Advaita Acharya's wife, Sita Devi, she was begging for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's an old man, he will die. Don't do this, don't do this. And then when finally Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got off his chest, he started dancing and rolling. Finally, I was bereft of his mercy. I had to get somehow or the other your mercy. Mahaprabhu, you never chastised me. You never showed any mercy. And today I got your full mercy. So now my life is successful. So these are some of the sweet pastimes. To gain the mercy, Advaita Acharya preached Mayavadism. So like this. Now that is one of the vows that, sometimes contrary things the devotee is ready to do. When Srila Prabhupada came to New York in 1965, he wrote a letter to Srila Narayan Maharaj. And he, at that time in the early stages, Prabhupada did not have any money and he did not have the resources. In fact, in one of his letters, he says that if you get a chance, please ship some mridangas and kartals to New York, for Vaishnava Kirtan. And then he writes that here, if I even have to even sell meat and wine, I'm ready to do that to preach the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that bhav cannot be imitated. We cannot start, like a lot of us in this movement, they start selling incense on the street and they start selling t-shirts and they call it Sankirtan. We see that. One time in Chicago, I have a condo right on a very strategic location on Lakeshore Drive. And it is about 7-8 minutes drive to the temple. And it's a very busy intersection because all the cars, they come from downtown and they pass that thoroughfare. So I saw one devotee one time. Now he's a sannyasi, by the way. And he was actually in his Western clothes wearing a hat and a coat and tie. And he was standing in the middle of the median and he was selling bumper stickers. He was selling bumper stickers like I love Chicago or I love New York and some mundane slogans. So I when I was crossing the street because it was just outside my building, I said, Prabhu, is that you? He said, yes, I'm on Sankirtan. I said, what? Where's your mridanga and kartals? That was my concept of Sankirtan. So no, right? This is Sankirtan. We're collecting donations and then this is not Sankirtan. In the name of Sankirtan, these people don't know the meaning of Sankirtan, unfortunately. Sankirtan is a very high concept. Sankirtan is something that will cause us to create a situation of Ananda Ambudi Vardhanam, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the first sloka of Chaitanya Sistastakam. Ananda Ambudi Vardhanam Pratipada Purna Amruta Swadanam. Krishna is an ocean of happiness, and it will also increase our own ocean of happiness when we chant the holy names. Samyak Kirtanati Samkirtan. Samyak means full kirtan. Full kirtan means Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada explains the meaning of the word Samyak Kirtan or Sankirtan as complete kirtan. When we worship Radha and Krishna together, that is Samyak Kirtan. And the best way, wherever we are, the best way to worship Radha and Krishna together is by the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because in the word Hara, not only Radharani, but all the dear associates of Radharani are present in the word Hara. The gopis, the manjaris, etc., the Vrajvasis, the Nam Namakari, Bahuda, Nija Sarva Shaktis, all the internal potencies, the Nija, the most dearmost associates of Mahaprabhu, most associates of Krishna and Radharani are present, and Radharani herself is present. and Krishna is present, so that is complete kirtan. That is Sankirtan. Ah, there are many. Sankirtan also means congregational chanting. When when a lot of devotees get together and call out the holy names, that is also Sankirtan. But that is a very basic meaning. That can be done also in the Vaikuntha Bhav, where one can even chant the different names of the Lord. Om Namo Narayana, Sriman Narayana, Narayana, Hari Hari. That is also in one form Sankirtan. But we have to look at the inner deeper meaning of the word Sankirtan. If there's Radharani is missing, then it is not Sankirtan. Samyak, full. And it is only full. Krishna is full only if Radharani is present. Radharani is only full when Krishna is present, whether in union or in separation. But they cannot be separated, Radha and Krishna. Even in separation, they cannot be separated. So this is what the Hare Krishna Mahamantra gives us. So that is Sankirtan, not selling incense on the street. And then even in the name of distributing books, selling books, and then calling it Sankirtan, it doesn't take the full consciousness of Sankirtan. Because we have to become good friends when we are distributing a book. We have to convince them really that this is something beneficial for them. We have to approach them in such a way that I am actually, I don't want anything. Even if you don't want to give money, that's fine, keep it. A lot of the books are sponsored. We can afford it. ISKCON is not a poor man's movement. That way we are fortunate. So if somebody wants some free books, let them have it. Of course, Prabhupada on the other has said that if you give something free, it doesn't have, it is not appreciated. But there has to be a balance. Okay. So sometimes that intelligence should be used. Many things may sound controversial, but again, what is the ultimate consciousness? Prabhupada said, no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. And here he writes a letter to Sri Narayan Maharaj that I'm willing to sell meat and wine if I have to. So it is the highest consciousness. Highest consciousness means I have a purpose. My Guru Maharaj sent me. He instructed me to preach this message of Mahaprabhu to the English-speaking world. So before I die, I have waited many years. He gave me this instruction in my younger days, and I was not able to fulfill that desire of my Guru Maharaj. So now, I will do it. So Prabhupada utilized whatever he had. Young people, old people, whoever came, come, my dear boy, come, my dear girl, come, take to this Krishna consciousness. Life membership program, come. We know you're busy with your business, but Sunday, your business is closed. In India, 6 days, the businesses are open, including Saturday. But Sunday, everything is closed. So at least once a week, Prabhupada said, come to the temple, take prasadam, take to this. And if you're a big business magnate traveling, we have centers in London. And Prabhupada would say centers in Chicago, center in New York, in San Francisco. And he would nicely, so you can go and take advantage of this Krishna conscious movement. And that is what I personally also in my personal life, sometimes when the opportunity arises, if I'm traveling to a new place, I always try to find an ISKCON center where I can associate with devotees. That's been my practice for many years. And it is so amazing. Just like we go to Vrindavan and we go to all this, we do Vrajmandal Parikrama. In our heart, the places of pilgrimage for the Vaishnava is also Srila Prabhupada's movement. That is a tirtha also. Although we may have many faults in our movement, but where Prabhupada opened centers, we have to appreciate that. We have to appreciate those devotees who assisted Prabhupada. We have to appreciate that somehow the other, the Prithvicha Adi Nagaradi Gram Sarvatra Hibe Mor Manam Prachar, in every town and village, the holy name will be spread. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Vani, Srila Prabhupada, he fulfilled it. And there were so many who assisted Srila Prabhupada, who served Srila Prabhupada, fulfilled that desire. So sometimes in the family, we do some positive criticism. That is simply to raise the bar and standard. Sometimes I speak very, very strongly. It is not meant for the general public. It is meant because most of the people who are joining are in ISKCON. So the message hopefully goes to them if they take it in the right spirit. Because that is what it should be. Like if a father sees a son make a mistake, or a brother sees his siblings make some kind of a mistake, then whether it is a younger sister, it doesn't matter. She can chastise the older brother, or vice versa, or bring bring to attention the right thing to do. So We should not be under that illusion. Sankirtan, selling t-shirts. Uh, some of them I've seen in Miami. They have a stall on the beach selling t-shirts, and they say, where are you going, Prabhu? Oh, I have to go early. I have to take an early breakfast. I'm going for Sankirtan. Don't make this word Sankirtan cheap. That is an offense against the divine couple and their intimate associates, because the Sankirtan is them. It is them. Samyak Kirtaniti Sankirtan. Ananda Amudi Vardhanam. Pratipada Purna Amrut Swadanam. By selling t-shirts and by selling incense, we don't get Amrut. We don't get that deathlessness. Rather, we'll be hit by a car. If you're standing on the street, there's no difference between a panhandler and one selling incense in the middle of the street, thinking that they're doing some service. It is simply a method of making some money, because we know the situation. And at that time, I knew even in the Chicago temple, the brahmacharis and all, they didn't get any money, and there was nothing. So they needed some money to go to India. Temple presidents and authorities would say that, no, we cannot give you this year. You have to wait for next year. So they wait for next year. Next year also they get the same answer. No. We don't have much money right now. You have to wait till next year. So 3-4 years, certain devotees waited. So then they said that you forget it. We are not going to be begging in the temple. We will either catch some congregation member or we will sell things. But that's fine. You do that. But don't call it Sankirtan. That is the objection that I have. So, like this. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, घाट छाड़ी कत दूरे जल सनिधने वासी प्रभु करे कृष्ण नाम संकीर्तने. Ghat chadi, after leaving the ghat or the bathing place, the bank, dure jala sanidhane, a short distance away, near the water, near the banks of the Godavari river, sitting down, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna Nama Sankirtane. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted the holy names. So this is the example. Nanda Nandan himself, in the mood of Radharani, he himself is taking the shelter of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is amazing. Even if the Supreme Lord himself can chant the holy names, then what is the difficulty? We should also be doing it, and we should be encouraging others. Chant and be happy. Srila Prabhupada said. Always he used to quote that. Enakale dolai chari Ramananda Rayo Snana kari bare aila bhajana bhajaya. So at that time, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw, that there was music and there were drums and different kinds of musical instruments that were being played, and that was the accompaniment of Rayaramananda. He came there in a palanquin, carried by his servants, because Rayaramananda was a great minister. He came for his evening bath. Tandra Shange Bahuaila Vaidika Brahmano Vidhimate Koila Tenho Shananadi Tarpana. Tandra Shange Bahuaila Vaidika Brahmana. Along with him, along with Rayaramananda came many Brahmanas who knew the Vedic principles very well, who knew the Vedic mantras very well. On a Vidhimate Koila, and according to the ritualistic ceremonies, Teno Snanadi Tarpana. And Rayaramananda entered the waters of Godavari and he offered obeisances to the river according to the Vedic rituals, where the Brahmanas started chanting the different mantras, and Rayaramananda ji offered oblations to the holy river. Prabhu Tandra dekhi janila ei Rama Rai tanara milite Prabhura mana uthi dhai. So Prabhu Tandra dekhi, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw ei Rama Rai, this is Ramananda Rai, this is the Ramananda Rai that Sarva Bhattacharya was talking about. He requested me to see him, to give him special darshan. Tanare milite Prabhura mono uthi dhai. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to so much meet him. He was so excited to meet him that his mind immediately began running after him. So that is perhaps the same excitement when he left the Jihad Narsingha temple the next morning. He did not know which direction he was going. because of his excitement. That is what happens when we are in pure bhakti. At that time, we cannot speak properly. Nayanam galada shrudharaya. Our tears are like torrential rainfall. And nayanam ashrudharaya. Vadanam gadgada rudayagira. The body is shaking, shivering. The neck or the throat starts choking up. The speech starts faltering. Romancha kampan ashru taranga. Romancha, hair starts standing on an end. Kampan, shivering. All these symptoms happen. So that excitement, and that excitement should be there. That's another thing. And when we are going to meet devotees, when we are going to enter the dham, all whether it is devotees or chant the holy name or the paraphernalia of Krishna, and when we just by thinking of the dham, when we are going to enter the dham, that excitement should be there. The moment if we are taking a train from Bombay, the moment it approaches Braj Mandal, and when we see the sign of Mathura station, a special feeling should come in our hearts that yes, now we are entering Vraj Bhumi. This is where my Krishna appeared. And when we get down, or if we are coming by car from Delhi, and when we see, or when we turn on that Chatikara road, when we make a left on the Agra Delhi highway, immediately, something happens to a lot of devotees within their heart. They feel more and more excitement. And then as we are going through, we see that Bhakti Vedanta gate in memory of Srila Prabhupada. The government in Vrindavan constructed a gate, and then when we enter and we see the parikrama mark, immediately we should stop the vehicle and offer our flat obeisances to the dham, offer our obeisances to the parikrama mark, where millions and millions of devotees, including Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one time, he went and he performed parikram and begged the mercy. So like this, that excitement to Sri Ramanand Rai, in his mind, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to run, but he had to curtail himself. Tathapati dharya dhari, Prabhu Raila Vasiya, Ramaranda Aila Apurva, Shanyasha Dekhiya. Tathapi dharya dhari. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to become very patient. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Rohila Vasiya. Bashia means he remained seated where he was at a distance. And Ramanan Rai came, Apurva, Adbhut, wonderful, Sannyasi Dekhiya, and he saw this amazing sannyasi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the sunset, when the sun was setting, and the sun is already radiantly orangish in color, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dressed as a sannyasi has also got that wonderful aura of the sun. So that was even an amazing sight that Rai Ramanand immediately saw the sun. That is why the sannyas dress is orange in color. That is like something that is very, very easily one can get attracted to. That is the color for the brahmacharis, the sannyasis, and the vanaprastha. It means like a kind of a signal to remain alert. Oh, somebody who is connected to the Lord, who has given his life to the Lord, is there. And that is why persons who are of that order of sannyas order, everybody should offer obeisances. Sri Prabhupada even said, even if he's a Mayavadi sannyasi, you should offer obeisances to the sannyas ashram. You don't have to go close to them if they are not in line with our philosophy or our understanding, but at least offer them obeisances, because that is a sannyas ashram. The red color, even if we look at it from the modern science, it has got that I think it's a higher frequency. That is why we find that the signal lights are as such that nobody can miss a red light. Red light is very important. Green light, if one goes, it is normal. But in a red light, one should not cross. That is why deliberately whoever designed the signal lights, they have this amber, which is the intermediary frequency, which is higher than, I think it's the wavelength. I think if I'm not mistaken, it's the wavelength. So that wavelength is higher in number than the green light is the orange, and higher than that is the saffron or red. So you can even see something if you keep two different colors at the same distance, in a long distance, you will see the red color first. That is the eyes, because of the wavelength. So there is some scientific reason behind it as well, why the color of the sannyas ashram is orange, or reddish orange in color. So like this, Rai Ramanand, seeing this wonderful sannyasi, he came to see him. Rai Ramanand got attracted. That is the normal thing in our Vedic Sanskriti. If we see a sadhu, immediately we should get attracted, at least to offer the respects, no matter what panth they belong to, no matter what philosophy they're preaching. They're still a sadhu. Some or the other, they are trying to connect to a higher order of life. Uh, doesn't matter which Vaishnava Sampradaya, which sadhu. Sadhus are naturally attracted. One is attracted to sadhus. But of course, we have to be cautious, because if we are in a certain mood or a sampradaya, that mood or sampradaya should not be disturbed. But we have to respect. That is the important thing. Very important. Shurya Shata Shama Kanti Aruna Vashana Shubala Shubalita Prakanda Deha Kamala Lochana Surya Shata Shama Kanti. Like hundreds and hundreds of suns, the effulgence was that of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Aruna Vashana, the saffron garments that were adorned by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shubhalita Prakanda Deha, and very Shubhalita. Not only Balita, Bala means strength, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a wonderful physique. He actually had even Krishna. Krishna's physique is amazing. He looks very delicate, but he has a broad chest. He has got very strong hands. Radharani herself addresses Krishna, and right after the Ras Leela, when Krishna disappears, after meeting Radharani in seclusion in the forest, and he said she is crying, searching for Krishna. Kwasi, Kwasi, Mahabaho. She addresses Krishna, Kwasi, Kwasi. Where are you? Where are you? Mahabaho. Oh, strong arm one. You are the strong arm. Because Krishna not only lifted the Govardhan on his little tiny finger, he also lifted Radharani when she was tired and taking her to the forest. So here, Subalita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is extremely strong built. Prakanda, he is huge, he is big. It is said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was more than 6 feet 6 inches tall. Almost we can say he was 7 feet tall. We have seen those who have got the opportunity to take the darshan in Jagannath Puri Dham, in the Gambhira, which is in the house of Kasi Mishra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a very small room where he stayed last 12 years of his pastimes in the Gambhira with Rai Ramanand, whom he has just met, and or whom he is just about to meet, and who is none other than Vishakha Sakhi and Swarup Damodar Goswami, who is none other than Lalita Sakhi. So, and then there was one servant, Govinda. So they all were in the Gambhira. There Mahaprabhu was, and there, if we take a look, there is a little window. And behind the window, behind the iron rods, you can see, if you look carefully, there is a glass case. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's padukas, his wooden sandals, his kamandal that was made of earthen pot, are even there today. They are displayed. And his padukas are huge, like almost, we can say twice the size of a normal 7 or 8 number footwear. We can say very big padukas. So here it is confirmed by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami that Subalita Prakanda, he's Prakanda Deha, very big body, Kamala Lochan, but his eyes were like beautiful petal lotus-like petals. Amazing. Ajanu Lambita Bhujo Kanakaya Udato Sankirtanai Pitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishwambaro Dijavaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagata Priya Karo Karuna Avtaro. Ajanu Lambita Bhujo. Both the brothers were very, very big and tall. Their arms extended, elongated to their knees. Ajanu Lambita Bhujo Kanakaya Udato, and they had very beautiful complexions, uh, like golden, molten gold complexion, Kanaka Udhato, Sankirtane Pitaro. They are the founders of this Sankirtan movement. And this Sankirtan in particular, the Gaudiya Bhav, the consciousness, Krishna consciousness in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the line of Vrajvasis. Sankirtane Pitaro, Kamalaya is beautiful lotus-like eyes, which is the same thing. Kamala Lochana, the words that Krishnadas Kaviraj goes, Lochan means eyes, Kamal means lotus, and Kamalaya Kamala, this is Vrindavan Das Thakur from Chaitanya Bhagavat. This verse that I quoted is the Manglacharan. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami takes excerpts. He first offers his obeisances to both Murari Gupta and Lochan and Vrindavan Das Thakur, who had both written. Murari Gupta had kept a personal diary where there was a biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is none other than Vyasdev, an incarnation, he also compiled the Chaitanya Bhagavat. And he has mentioned so many wonderful pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here he offers his obeisances and he praised Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, prays to both of them to bestow their mercy so that he can write and expound some more details from what they had previously mentioned in their Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Mangal. Hare Krishna. So we'll take one more verse and then we will conclude for today's session. Dekhiya tanram mone hoile chamatkaro Ashiya korile dandvat namaskara. Dekhiya tandra mane. When Rayaramananda saw the wonderful sannyasi, he was struck with wonder. And he went to him and immediately offered him respectful obeisances. Dandavata, just like a rod. We explained the meaning of dandvat. We say that, right? Prabhuji, dandvats. So dandvats, danda means a stick or a rod. And when we let it go and it falls on the ground, it falls flat. All the parts of the rod are touching the ground. So similarly, all males in humility, when that is prostrated obeisances, when we are in front of Srila Prabhupada, when we are in front of the deities, in front of Mahaprabhu and Mahaprabhu's associates or Vaishnavas, we should offer Dandvat. This Dandvat is a sign of humility. One little incident comes to my mind. 26 Second Avenue, so Prabhupada was training all the hippies to become Vaishnavas. Prabhupada used to give Bhagavad Gita classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And many of these hippies came and they started taking part in the kirtan. And then Prabhupada spoke from the Bhagavad Gita about 30-40 minutes. And then Prabhupada would personally distribute some fruits with his own hands. And then after the kirtan, everybody would, Prabhupada had at that time introduced the Jai Dhwani. Jayom Vishnuvat Paramahansa Parivajakacharya Stotra Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki. And everybody had learned, they all used to all bow down. Jai. And the Guru Parampara ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyam Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Mayapur Dham ki Jai. Navadvip Dham ki Jai. जगन्नाथ पुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, समावेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. And all of them, whether the Western boys, girls, they all learned that they should all bow down. So there was one person in the back of the room that never bowed down. He would stand up and all the rest were on the ground. So Prabhupada said, yes, Greg, what is your problem? His name was Greg. So Greg said, Swamiji, I just don't feel like bowing down. So Prabhupada smiled at him and says, you must bow down. Because when you bow down, you are giving up your ego, false ego, in installments. And the whole crowd laughed. And even this Greg, who was a super khadus person, by nature. He was always very, what do you call, disturbed, and he kind of stayed aloof. And that kind of personality, even he laughed. And then from that day onwards, he started bowing down. And later on, he became Gargamuni. So Brahmanand was Bruce, his brother, first batch, 1965 in New York, 26 Second Avenue. So the point is that Dandavat is a scientific thing. When we fall down on the ground, that means we are surrendering ourselves to that person. So even if that person is upset at us, and that person is not so favorable to us, when we bow down to somebody, then out of humility, then Paramatma is there in their hearts. Then there's nothing but good that they will do for us. And especially for those who are great personalities, indeed, for them, they're just waiting to shower their mercy. All we need is some humility. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadakshanti jnaninas tattva darshana. So one has to, with great humility, offer obeisances to the Vaishnavas, to the sadhus, to one who is fully realized, and ask them questions. Pranipatena pariprashnena upadakshanti jnanis tattva darshana. And one who has seen the truth will be able to impart the truth. When we are humble, then we become patra. We become eligible to receive mercy. It is not through books that we can get mercy. Books we can get gyan, but the mercy is when we are humble. When we are reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, we have to see that these are the words of Krishna that His Divine Grace Prabhupada has painstakingly, translated and given his painstakingly Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad purports. It is Srila Prabhupada who's speaking and explaining the pastimes of Sri Krishna, whether it is Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it is with great reverence. That is why we say the prayers, Om Agyanti Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. That is why we offer to all the Gurus, Vandeham Shri Guroho, Shri Uta Pada Kamalam, Shri Guron Vaishnavams, to all the Gurus and all the Vaishnavams, Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam, unto Rup Goswami offer my obeisance. Sa Agra Jatam means his elder brother, Sanatan Goswami. Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam, along with the Raghunath Das Goswami, along with Jiva Goswami, Tam Sajivam. Sad Advaitam, I offer my obeisances to Advaita Acharya. Sa Avdhutam, Nityanand Prabhu is Avdhut. He's also crazy, Krishna crazy. He was known as Avdhut. Avdhut means one who has no consciousness external, how he dresses, how he wears, what he talks, what he speaks. He simply doesn't be like a normal man. What he wears, simply rolls on the ground, cries, chants, like that. Avdhut. He's called Avdhut. Sa Avdhuta. Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Deva. Offer my obeisances to all the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya. Sahagana Lalita. Sahagana means all the gopis in Vraj Bhav. All the gopis who are assisting the Ashtasakhis and serving Radharani. Sahagana and the Gana of Lalita and Vishakha. The aids of Lalita and Vishakha. The Swakiya gopis of Radharani. Sahagana here means the Swakiya gopis of Radharani, including the Manjari. Sahagana, Lalita, Vishakha and Vitamscha. And headed by Lalita and Vishakha, I offer my obeisances. So that is the system. That's how we can get mercy when we hear. So that is where we will conclude for today. So I believe in Madhya Leela now we are in the part where the actual conversation will start soon, and between Rai Ramananji and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the real nectar is going to start flowing. Everything is nectar. How Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and chanted in front of Nrsingadev, how he left the temple, how he accepted the invitation of the Brahmin to stay. Everything about a Vaishnava is worth noting. Everything about them is worth noting. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu played a wonderful Vaishnava's role, wonderful devotee's role, teaching us Shreya Swabhaktim, Swabhaktim, his own bhakti, bhakti towards Krishna himself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, जय नित्यानंद, जय द्वैत चंद्र, जय गौर भक्त वृंद, जय गौर भक्त, जय श्री प्रभुपाद, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।